What is really cost to buy a house? Hidden fees and monthly expenses explained. Hidden cost of buying a house in San Diego, what most buyers don't budget for. Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Galina Shekhtman and I am San Diego Realtor for 25 years. And today we're gonna uncover what is the cost of buying a house. Buying a house, it's one of the most exciting moments in life. It's emotional, it's meaningful, and for many people, it's a dream come true. But there's something I always tell my buyers very honestly and very early on. The purchase price, it is not a full cost of buying a home. If you're not prepared for hidden costs, they can feel stressful, overwhelming, or even scary. And that is exactly what I want to protect you from. My goal is simple. I want you to understand the real numbers behind the buying a home so you can feel calm, confident, and prepared, not surprised. Let's start with the upfront cost. The money you need before you ever hold the keys in your hands. Congratulations, your offer is accepted. Now, you'll wire your earnest money deposit to escrow, which is clearly outlined in your purchase agreement, and it's typically 3% of the purchase price. This isn't extra money. This money goes towards your down payment or your closing costs towards the end of the transaction. And for many buyers, this is when planning becomes very real. Next, come inspection. And this is where I always remind my clients that inspections are there to protect them. This is your opportunity to conduct as many inspections as you feel are needed to make a clear, informed, and educated decision about the home that you're purchasing. Then there is an appraisal. This is required by your lender and confirms that the home is worth what you are paying. The appraisal usually is paid upfront by the buyer. If the transaction not closed, the inspection and appraisal fees usually non-refundable, so it's important to plan for it. One important update buyers should be aware of involves buyers' representation and compensation. Under the new rule, effective January 1st, 2025, most buyers will be asked to sign a buyer representation and broker compensation agreement before going out to preview homes. This agreement simply clarifies who represents you, how you're protected, and how your agent is compensated, typically about 3% of the purchase price. Thought always negotiable and agreed on upfront. But there is a good news. In about 99.9% of the transactions, sellers are still accommodating and covering the buyer's agent compensation just as they traditionally have. My role is to explain this clearly, answer every question, and make sure you feel comfortable, protected, and fully informed before moving forward. Now let's talk about closing costs, because this is where many buyers feel surprised if no one has explained it early or clearly. In California, buyers usually pay between 1% and 3% of the purchase price in closing costs. In addition to their down payment, closing costs typically include lender fees, escrow fees, title fees, recording fees, prepaid interest, other required transaction charges, sometimes upfront HOA fees. These costs are not optional and are not separated from your down payment. This is often the moment buyers say, "I thought my down payment was enough," and I completely understand why. This part is not explained clearly enough. Another cost that often catches buyer off guard is prepaid property taxes. In California, property taxes are roughly 1% to 1.5% of the purchase price each year. Depending on the timing of your closing, you might need to reimburse the seller for taxes they have already paid or prepay oncoming tax period. This can easily be several $1,000s at closing. Homeowner insurance is another upfront cost that must be in place before you receive the keys. Most lender requires 1 full year of homeowner insurance to be paid at closing. Depending on the home, the location, and whether it's in fire zone, this can range from about $1,200 to several $100s per year. This is not optional, and I always make sure My buyers plan for it early. Now, talking about monthly cost, because this is where long-term comfort really matters. Property taxes are not just yearly number. They affect your monthly budget. Many homes in San Diego also have HOA. HOA might cover exterior maintenance, landscaping, roofs, gates, or amenities like pools and clubhouses. HOA fees increase over time, and lenders count them when qualifying you for a loan. So, they're very important to factor in. Some properties also have a Mello-Roos or special assessment, especially in the newer communities. These are additional taxes that can range from a few $1,000s per year to much more. It is important to understand whether they're permanent, when they expire, and how they might affect your resale value in the future. Now let's talk about move-in costs and ongoing monthly expenses, because this is where long-term comfort really matters. Move-in costs are not directly part of your closing costs, but they are important to keep in mind and budget for. Moving alone can be expensive. Even a local move can cost $1,000 to $3,000, and larger homes or longer distance could be much more. Then there's utility setup costs. Electricity, gas, water, trash, and internet often requires deposits for activation fees. These first month's expenses can easily reach several $100s. Even homes that are described as move-in ready usually need something: new locks, paint touch-up, windows covering, all small repairs. Buyers are often surprised at how quickly they spend $2,000, $5,000, or more shortly after move-in. Finally, let's talk about maintenance, the part of home ownership that no one gets excited about, but everyone needs to plan for. A good rule of thumb is to budget about 1% of the home's value per year for maintenance. On a $1 million home, that means about $10,000 per year, or a little over $800 per month. This covers things like plumbing issues, appliances replacement, HVAC services, unexpected repairs. Homes do not break all at once, but they do require care, and planning for it brings peace of mind. This is why I don't just help people find homes, I help them understand the full picture, the cash needed, the true monthly cost, taxes, insurance, HOA fees, and long-term comfort. The goal is not just to buy a house. The goal is to buy it with confidence and enjoy your home without financial stress. The right time to buy a home is not about timing the market. It's about being ready financially, emotionally, and strategically. When you understand the real cost of home ownership, you make stronger decisions, feel more secure, and enjoy the journey so much more. Before I wrap it up, here is a quick reminder of some of the hidden costs many buyers don't always think about. Home inspection, paid upfront. Additional inspections such as roof, termite, sewer, or pool, paid upfront. Appraisal, paid during escrow if you're financing. Credit reports fees, escrow and title fees, processing and recording fees. When a buyer is financing the property, closing cost usually runs about 1 to 1.5% of the purchase price, depending on the loan and situation. For the cash purchases, the amount is different based on the loan-related fees. For cash purchases, the amount is different because loan-related fees are not included. The most important thing is this: you never want to be surprised at the last moment. If you like to know what other fees may be associated with buying a house, selling a house, comment house below, and I'll send you the full list. If you're thinking about buying and want clear numbers, honest guidance, and someone who truly has your back, I am here for you. Let's plan smart and turn someday into the welcome home with love. Galina Shekhtman.